All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, to whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Praise be to Yahuwah. Let's go over here to Psalms 51. Psalms 51. I think we got all the way to verse 12. I shall pick it up at verse 6 yet again and work our way back to verse 12. Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and the hidden parts shall you make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities. Create me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right ruach within me. Cast me not away from your presence. Take not your ruach hakadash from me. Restore unto me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with your free ruach. Then will I teach transgressors your ways, and sinners shall be converted unto you. The question at hand is, we talked about that free spirit. What did it mean? And I wait. We talked about that free spirit. What did that mean? That means put my hat on. That means I'm waiting on y'all. Do you know what that means? No? Why don't you know? Oh, because you weren't paying attention on Wednesday when I said it. Now, were you? Oh, you were? Oh, very well then. So you just don't remember. Is that your final answer? Or are you just saying that because you think that's what I want to hear? You don't know? Why don't you know? It's okay. Do y'all know is the question. Because it's not if the babies know. It's if y'all grown people know. See, this is a little too grown for y'all. You want to smell it, don't you? You don't? Why not? Oh, I know you do, Renee. Come on. Yeah, you try that. Y'all don't remember what the free spirit is? I got all night. Oh, can you smell it? What does it smell like?
It smells like apples.
Smells like what? It smells like apples. It's flowers in it. There's some iris in it. Iris is a flower. It has some spices in it. Do you know what spices are?
Something really spicy?
It's something that you use to spice up your food. It has some rum in it. Do you know what rum is? It's aged sugar. I said, what is free spirit? What did that mean? It's aged sugar that people like to drink to get intoxicated. It also has tobacco in it and leather. You know what leather is? You don't know what leather seats are? See, this is leather. Right there, that's leather. Your shoes are made out of leather, for the most part. You're adding a little bit too much to it, but it's free spirit is simply a kingly spirit, a noble spirit, the spirit of a ruler. Remember, we were talking about 2 Samuel 22. Let's return to 2 Samuel 22, or is it 23? Excuse me. What may I do for you, Muffin Man?
You.
You. What about me?
E.
E what?
E.
EFG.
No, he said eat eggs.
You want to eat eggs? I don't got no eggs.
He said you eat eggs.
I do eat eggs. Does that offend you? Does that bother you? Oh, very well then. No, not when they're not the free gift of his son's sacrifice. It translates to Nadab, and that means noble, a ruler, a prince. So when he's telling you not to take away his free spirit, he was asking him to not take away the spirit of a king or the spirit of the ruler. Because let me show y'all something. Psalms 24. Let me read that word again, because y'all seem not to recall. Free, Nadib, inclined, willing, noble, princely in rank, noble in mind and character. So this is a ruach, or a breath of a noble ruler. But I want you to come to Psalms 24 for this, briefly. We'll pick this up in Psalms 24:7 and get straight to the point. Psalm 24:7, get straight to the point. Lift up your heads, O you gates, and be you lift up, you everlasting doors, and the Malik of esteem shall come in. Who is the Malik of esteem? Yahuwah, strong and mighty, Yahuwah, mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, even lift them up, you everlasting doors, and the Malik of esteem shall come in. Who is the Malik of esteem? Yahuwah of hosts. He is the Malik of esteem. Selah. Now pause. John 4:22. You can make it 4:19. John 4:19. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Yahushua said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour come when you shall neither in this mountain nor at Jerusalem worship Abba. Say this with me, children. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready, Muffin Man? Say, you worship.
You worship.
You know not what.
You know not what.
We know what we worship.
We know we worship.
For salvation.
For salvation.
Is of.
Is of.
The Yahudim.
The Yahudim.
Who is salvation for?
The Yahudim.
Who are the Yahudim?
Yahudim.
No. That would be you.
Me?
Are you a Jew?
Jew.
Then what are you? So you don't know if you're a Jew or not. What are you?
I'm a Yahudim.
Where? How do you know that?
Because you just said it.
But why? You only know it because I just said it? You don't know it because you learned it? How did you learn it?
One, because I had to repeat after you.
Oh. What are you, Lizzie? How do you know that?
I'm not.
Are you a Hebrew? Are you an Israelite? Are you a Yahudim? How do you know these things?
I read in the Bible, and then when Mommy first showed us, and this used to be the playroom, she first showed us the Bible video on that TV, and then I learned about it.
Oh, very well. Very good, Pot. Let's continue. But the hour come, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship Abba in Ruach and in truth. For Abba seeks such to worship him. Say it with me, children. Elohim
Elohim
is a Ruach.
is a Ruach.
And they that worship him
And they that worship him
must worship him
must worship him
in Ruach
in Ruach
and in truth.
and in truth.
So that means that you're going to have to worship him with that noble mind and faithfulness. Say it with me, children. The word truth is
The word truth is
Amok, which means faithful.
faithfulness.
Do you know what faithfulness means, children?
No.
It means to be reliable, that people can depend on you, that what you say you're going to do, you're going to do it. That the things that you're supposed to do, you do them every day. See, like y'all are not faithful in putting on your deodorant.
No.
You know why y'all know that you're not faithful in putting on your deodorant?
No.
Because when I ask you if you put on your deodorant, some days you say you don't. Is that right? So that means you're not faithfully putting on your deodorant. That's something you do every day.
No.
I'm just using that as an example for you to understand, not to point, because you're not used to putting on deodorant because you haven't had to do it. But now you have to do what? Faithfully put it on every day. You know what happens if you don't?
Your armpits start to stink and they get itchy.
Oh, they get itchy.
And mine does.
And ashy? So then you itchy, ashy, and stanky. Oh. What you laughing for? One day you're going to be stank too.
No.
Okay.
You too. You too.
And you too, sir. Everybody gets stank, cuz. What you think this is? Just them? They stink? You be stink too, boy. Come over here to 2 Samuel 23. Stop pulling on his clothes, boy. You want somebody to pull on your clothes? Come here so I can pull on your clothes. Come on. Okay then. 2 Samuel 23:1. Now these be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, the man who was, hey, cut it out, boy. I already gave you your warning. After that, it's on site. I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all not babies. Y'all know how to follow instructions. Now you want to look sad, look crazy, and look stupid. No, don't do that. Certain matters I'm not going to repeat to you twice. I'm just going to punch you dead in your mouth. Now, we had already began. I told you what not to do. You speak when spoken to. If you're not spoken to, your mouth need to be closed. Have some respect, or I'm going to put some respect in you. Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? I can't hear you. You better talk like a man. Do you understand? I don't hear you. Do you understand? I can't hear you. Do you understand? Well, come here then, since you can't talk. Come here. No, ain't not all of that. Do you understand? Talk. Now you can talk, or I'm gonna embarrass you in front of all these people. Do you understand? See why you can't do that the first time? Go sit down. Shalom, man. The anointed of Elohim of Jacob and the sweet psalmist of Yasharal said, the Ruach of Yahuwah spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. So we just established that Elohim is a Ruach. His Ruach is a kingly Ruach, or a noble Ruach, a Ruach of a princely manner, a ruler. And his word was in my tongue. Now, when it comes to the word being in your tongue, remember, as it states in Psalms 116, if I'm not mistaken, I believe, therefore I have spoken. Let's continue. The Elohim of Yasharal said, the rock of Yasharal spake to me, he that rule over men must be just, ruling in the fear of Elohim. We talked about that as far as ruling. Remember, it was Mashal, Mean, Shan, Lamad. You are paired to the Ruach of the shepherd. In order to rule effectively, you must be paired to the spirit of Elohim. If you are not paired to it, you cannot rule effectively. That is impossible. So therefore, there's no way that you're going to rule in the fear of Elohim. You're not paired to his spirit. Therefore, you don't have any reverence for him. See, if you're paired to his teachings, if you're paired to the teacher, then you're going to have reverence and honor from whom he is teaching about. See, I'm going to share something with you because it junk pissed me off when I seen it. A dude I went to school with, we've already mentioned the matter, but then some things came to my brain, and we're going to cycle through them this day. Remember that if you're going to rule over men, you must be just, you must be righteous. This is why it tells you that a shepherd, a bishop, a pastor, it always tripped me out when I see dudes trying to separate overseer, bishop, pastor. It's all the same job. It's just different name to describe the same job. They're all going to translate for the most part to Ra'ah. So it's just asinine to me in that regard. Hey, keep your hands to yourself. Don't you hit that boy no more. Do you understand? No, I don't know what that means. Do you understand? What? Hey, you leave her alone. Do you understand? Little boy. Hey, little boy. Zachariah. Now you hear me calling you, boy. Don't worry about it. Pardon me for a moment. You heard me calling you, boy. Now you leave her alone, or you can go in your room. You understand? Do you understand? Do you understand, boy? I don't care what y'all got going on. Don't bring that. Take that junk in the room. Don't bring that over here. Now, we talked about this also on Wednesday. He shall be as the light of the morning when the sun arises, even a morning without clouds. So, being the light of the morning when the sun rises, let's go over here to Malachi 4 because we didn't touch that. We'll touch it right now, though. Malachi chapter 4. Malachi 4 and 1, if you would. Bring me a paper towel, please. For behold, the day come that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all you that do wickedly, shall be stubble. The day that comes shall burn them up, saith Yahuwah of hosts. It shall leave them neither root nor branch. Now, what do y'all think that means when he said it will leave them neither root nor branch? Scripture answers to justify your stance. Thank you, Father. Scriptural answers to justify your stance. Why would he say that it would not leave them neither root nor branch? Don't everybody jump out there at one time now. Do you know what a root is?
No.
What about you, Renee? That is right. That is right. A root.
I know a root.
What is a root, Pot?
What she said.
Oh. Tubby man, what is a root? Do you know what a root is? Y'all got to learn how to talk. All that and all that there, that's not how you effectively communicate. You don't want to grow up talking to people like that. People are not going to take you seriously. You have to learn how to effectively communicate and use your words. A root, Tubby man, is what has the base. Do you know the tree in the front yard? It's roots in the tree that are in the ground. Came from a seedling. Long, long, long time ago. You know what a seed is, right? What are seeds, son?
I think you plant and you can in trees.
That is right. So that root springs forth a tree. And what do trees have on them? What do the leaves grow from? No. What do the leaves grow from? What are on trees? If you were to climb a tree, how would you climb it? What would you have to climb on to climb a tree?
The branches.
So what do the leaves grow from? Now, they mentioned Proverbs 22 and 22, John 15. But see, y'all putting it out there, you're going to have to justify. You're going to have to give a justification. Because he said he's leaving neither root or branch for those who have done wickedly. So you have to look at your answers and say, do your answers correlate to what he is saying? No, not in the seed of David here. Not here. He said, those that do wickedly, he will burn them up as stubble, and he will leave them neither root nor branch. Now Stanley got it one in Isaiah 66 and 16. It's forth as him being as fire. But let me put it to you like this: it would be the converse, or the reverse, if you would, of what y'all putting up in John 15. Because what would be the root of those who do wickedly? You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. Yes, there you go, right there. The wicked shall be cut off, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. So when you look at that, the root for all of those is the devil. And remember, he say, I am the vine and you are the branches. That's what he told them in John 15. So if Satan is the root, then those who are born of the devil are the branches. He's not going to leave any sons of sinners, nor the devil in the earth. Because what can we read? He's going to take the devil and cast him where? Do you know where he's going to cast the devil? He's going to cast the devil in a lake of fire that burns with brimstone. You know what brimstone is? It's sulfur. Fire and sulfur. Sulfur gives off a pungent smell. It's quite repugnant. Do you know what repugnant means?
No.
It means it smells pretty bad. Have you ever walked in the bathroom after one of your siblings took a dump and it stunk?
Yeah. No.
Oh, you've been blessed. Look at you. It's okay. All right. Good for y'all. Good for you. What you over there doing, boy? Stop pulling your shirt up, boy. Come on over here, boy. Come over here, boy. Come on over here, boy. Come on, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Look at it. He faking like, well, you ain't nothing wrong with you. Look at the people. Let them see your face. Let them see it. You want to be fake mad? Let them see your fake mad face. Verse 2. He say, but unto you that fear my name. This is Malachi 4:2, by the way. Shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And you shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And you shall tread down the wicked. For they shall be as ashes under the soles of your feet. And the day that I shall do this, saith Yahuwah of hosts. So he's going to tramp down the wicked, because we kind of talked about him being the light in the day, but we didn't hit that Son of Righteousness on Wednesday. So we go ahead and send that on out here right now. But also we talked about even a morning without clouds. Do any of you remember what that meant as an even a morning without clouds? Who recalls what that meant? A morning without clouds. A morning without clouds. Who recalls what that means? I just got a notification. My man's be on there on Clubhouse. My man Zadok, but my man Barry be on there. He said them brews be on there going back and forth. I can't do no Clubhouse. I can't do that. I ain't got the time nor the patience for that. Any of y'all boys like to get on Clubhouse? Well, you got to have an iPhone to get on Clubhouse anyway. They say them brews be on there going at it. This is just time filler while I'm mentioning that, while I'm waiting on somebody to tell me what even a morning without cloud means. I got time, cuz. Can you read, Muffin Man? Come on if you want to read. You want to read? Huh? You picked up the book like you wanted to read. It's all right, son. If you want to read, you can come over here and read, son. You want to come read? Huh? I'm not talking to you. Y'all don't remember? I got time. I definitely took my time to go through this. And you mean to tell me y'all don't remember already? Good grief. It ain't right, Pat. It just ain't right. No, not the sky would be without light. He said it would be even as a morning without clouds. We just read the verse before that it'll be light. He just said the Son of Righteousness shall come with healing in his wings. And also it says that it'll arise. So I don't want to say the verse wrong. That there shall be, and he shall be as the light of the morning. So there will be light there. So what does that mean? Even a morning without clouds. We did read Amos about the day of Yahuwah. And in that regard, we were talking about how he mentioned how the day of Yahuwah would be. But for y'all to go ahead and pull that out, because y'all clearly don't remember, you're going to have to search through Isaiah 33 or Revelation chapter 6 and get back at me when you find the answer. Yeah. No. You got to remember this second Samuel 23 is talking about Yahushua's returning. Remember, David is a prophet. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. But even more so, we just talked about this Wednesday. I literally concluded with this on Wednesday, if my memory served me correctly. And we went through great detail about it. Now, Stanley remembered correctly with Amos chapter 5. But yeah, Isaiah 33 or Revelation chapter 6. You dig through it. You tell me what you find. Do you know what a cloud is? What is a cloud?
I forgot.
You forgot. Yes, Renee. What is a cloud? That is right. Clouds do have water in it. Clouds are made from moisture. Do you know where that moisture comes from? It comes from the firmament. Do you know what the firmament is?
No.
That's what Yahuwah made in the skies. He made the firmament. And there's water under the firmament. Well, that's what the white folks would tell you is the atmosphere, the stratosphere, and the toposphere. Do you know what the atmosphere is?
No.
That's a layer that allegedly allows them to go to outer space. Allegedly. But yes, clouds are made of water. Do you know who rides upon the clouds? That is right. That is right. By Yahuwah rides on the clouds. You know what that means to ride on the clouds?
No.
Up in the sky. No, when Yahuwah says he rides upon the clouds, that means he rides in the heavens, which is above the firmament. See, there's multiple heavens. So you have to go through certain heavens to get to Yahuwah. Don't tell me the verse, tell me what it say. No, I'm talking about in regards for Yahuwah. Yahuwah is, it ain't nothing for him to go through it. He rides upon the heavens. Would you like to ride upon the heavens with Yahuwah? Would you like to see a verse where it tells you that?
Yes.
Well, let's look at it then. Isaiah 58. Yeah, you got to tell me what the verse say, because I ain't gonna pull the verse out. Shoot, I could have went and read it. Isaiah 58 and 13. If you turn away your foot from Shabbat, from doing your pleasure on my Kadash day, the Kadash of Yahuwah, and call the Shabbat a delight, the Kadash of Yahuwah honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking words, because thy own is not there. It just says, nor speaking words. And we'll look and see what that translates to in a moment. Then shall you delight yourself in Yahuwah, and I will cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth. I will feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken it. What does those verses tell us, Sean? Enlighten us, engage us, if you will. Let me let y'all know what that is when it says your own words, because that is not there. Your own is not there. So what you have here is nor speaking words. You have double the bars. So what do you have in this one, in this regard? To speak, to declare, to converse, or to command, or to lead away, or to put flight. So you wouldn't speak to lead individuals away on the Shabbat from doing what Yahuwah has commanded you to do. But also this definition of debar, also the second one has it, business or occupation. So you would not lead away in your own business. So when it tells you not speak nor speaking your own words, it's telling you that you won't be led away with your own business, your own desires, your own occupation, your own matters, not doing what you want to do at the end of the day. Yes, the heavens departed away and rolled up like a scroll. That is what he means when he says, and even a morning without clouds, because he will cause the heavens to vanish. Why do they vanish? 2 Peter chapter 3. Hey, y'all end up playing, you being disrespectful. Second Peter chapter 3. Pick it up at about verse 4, if you would. You can make it 3. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, saying, where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. For this they were willingly ignorant of, that by the word of Elohim, Shamahim were of old, and the earth standing out of the water, and in the water, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved under fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to us ward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all set apart conduct and faithfulness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Elohim, when Shamahim being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwell righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent, that you may be found of him in shalom, without spot and blameless. So you should recall, because remember, Isaiah 51, and as you know, look at the heavens above and the earth beneath, because the heavens will vanish away like smoke, and the earth will wax old like a garment, and everybody in between shall die in like fashion. So when we look at it as the morning without a cloud, it's him burning up the heavens. Because remember, 2 Samuel 23 in its beginning, in its introduction, is dealing with the coming of Yahusha, the redemption of the saints, and the destruction of the wicked. This is why he asked, please do not take your... See, if you have the Ruach of Elohim in you, and we talked about this on Wednesday, you have the spirit of a king in you. That's what a lot of dudes don't realize. You have received this man's Ruach HaKodesh. You have the spirit of a king in you. So that means that you would have to sit back and look at how individuals conduct themselves. Kings don't sit back and forth arguing like no beta male sent man John, especially not with no women. Kings don't debase themselves, dishonor themselves. They don't do any of those things because it is beneath them. See, we've been so separated from having the thoughts and mind of a ruler that we don't even understand that participating in certain behaviors is beneath a ruler. A ruler wouldn't dare. Now, but let me take this detour because we're not going to have any means of passing.
Just disregard what I said last time.
Oh shoot, I'll use that chair. That's the chair I like. But you got your stuff in it.
Not my stuff.
I understand. You know, that's the original dope slinging chair.
But it's not about the chair. It's the area.
You know, I got that. It's easier for them and the light. And now they're gonna run and be unfocused. And you know, this is my favorite area anyway. That's my original area. You made that. I don't know what that is. What do you call that?
Doing back and open there.
Yeah.
Kids area. Out of my way area.
Yeah. That was the original trap house.
Still set up for it to be a trap.
No, it's not.
Yeah. You're just trying to make you a new house.
No, you know, it's Silent Hill regular. It'd be at me and Stanks. No, go ahead. That nigga trying to commit a felony.
No, I'm saying you broke in. Set up all your stuff. I woke up.
Woo! You know what happened? Oh, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, this is what it is. How many of y'all have seen people use Leviticus 19 and 18 in regards to getting the vaccine? This is hey, keep your feet off people. It's rude. You want people to put their feet on you? What? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Then don't put your feet on people. It's rude. And then you be blessing them with girls. Don't do that. You're going to grow up and be like that. And you're going to be a sucker. You don't want to grow up and be no sucker. Have any of y'all seen any of that with people using that? Leviticus 19. Now, I've been seeing Kamala Harris do it. I seen the white evangelical. I didn't see Biden do it. But somebody I went to school with tried to use Mark 12 and 29. And then when I seen it, I was offended. And in my offense, a couple passages came to mind. So I'm asking y'all this before I bring out the couple passages that came to mind. It's still going to relate to what we're talking about. So I thank the Lord. Yeah, I ain't catch Sleepy Joe do it. I think I read about it. Shoot, I didn't hear Kamala do it. I think I read about that also. And I read about the evangelicals doing that. Yes, they're saying, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you love your neighbor, then you will go get the vaccine. Now, we're not sitting here to talk about whether somebody should go or not go to get a vaccine. That's your personal business. I truly just genuinely don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's your body. Do what you want to with it. It's funny to me how niggas telling people to go get a vaccine. I didn't say niggas, mainly women, black women. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Stressing people about getting the vaccine, but you let anybody hit your bear bag. You ain't even worried about no HIV. You don't care nothing about that. You go ahead and let meat Willie spank you up real good. You know what I'm talking about? That boy carrying all manner of diseases. I just seen that. Put it away from her. Thank you. Now, this is what came to mind. I want y'all to come over here to 2 Chronicles chapter 16. And in no way, if what we about to look at, am I telling somebody that they should not go see a doctor? You want to go see a doctor? That's your business. I'm going to pick it up at verse 9. Yet again. Thank you, Brent. For the eyes of Yahuwah run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him. Hereby and you have done foolishly. Therefore, from henceforth you shall have wars. Then Asa was wroth with the seer and put him in the prison house. For he was enraged with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people the same time. And behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Yehuda and in Yasharal. Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease, he sought not to Yahuwah, but to the physicians. Now, I want you to see what the word physicians is. Because this is the aspect of what we're talking about. You want to go get a vaccine? That's your business. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm talking about for people who say they serve Yahuwah. You trying to tell somebody to seek to man versus seeking to Yahuwah if they happen to be diseased. If you say you trust and believe in the words of living Elohim. You got to understand that's the caveat. We can't take this type of statement that I'm making and apply that to people who say that they do not believe. If you profess that you believe that Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, whatever you say is the son of Elohim, then why would you be seeking to the healers, because that's what the word physician here means, than to seek to Yahuwah? Recall, easy question. Who was sick and sought to Yahuwah versus seeking to the physicians? You tell me. Just so you know, again, physicians is Rapha. Y'all know what that is. That's a healer, a physician of men. To heal, to make healthy, to heal. Literally to heal. To get healed. Now, I'm not telling you not to go deal with a doctor, see a doctor. I'm not telling you that. That's not what we're talking about. Yes, it was. When Hezekiah got sick, he sought to Yahuwah. He didn't seek to the physicians first. See, let me show you an example. Again, this is only for belief. This is not a conversation for people who don't believe the word. You can't take that. Yes. Oh. Well, it'd be a shame if they went away. That boy.
I find that clip to send it to you, but that's just so funny.
Come over here to James, man. Shame if they go to way, because it looked like you're not going to partake. Man, cut it out, boy. You with the shenanigans. Excuse me, that's Epistle of James chapter 5. Epistle of James chapter 5 and verse 13. But see, what we're about to mention, that's going to test and try how much people really believe in Yahuwah. Because see, this is what ends up happening. People feel like if you do the things that we're about to read and the person ain't healed, then that means God ain't real. He didn't say necessarily that the person would be healed. And I got something for this too, because I was reading the Deidre on my way over here. And there's a story about a church here in the city. 6 members in the last 10 days died of COVID. And they got a lot of people who got it in the hospital and this type of stuff. And you know what I'm talking about? They telling people, hey, man, you need to go get vaccinated, this, that, there, and the third, instead of sitting back looking at somebody dying of COVID in 2 fashions. Now, I'm going to let y'all chew on that to think on what 2 fashions you could go through the word for that. And then we'll deal with that. Yes, Renee. 14. The Epistle of James, chapter 5 and verse 14. 13, excuse me. Epistle of James, chapter 5, verse 13. Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. Is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the body and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And if he's committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. Oh, where these people at? Y'all people, these church people, you telling me if I love my neighbor, go get a vaccine? A lie you told. That ain't no book you talking about, you lying bastard, you. I'm talking about you. I'm waiting for somebody who say they believe in the word to approach me with that type of folly. So you mean to tell me in this hour that you gonna tell me that you would rather run and get a vaccine than to fast and pray to your Elohim like he told you to, whom you say you believe in? And that's when they gonna hit you. See, we got to be realistic, brother, because you know you got to follow the science. Science your punk behind out my face, you no good bastard, you unfaithful, wicked, unbelieving, chump punk bastard. Depart from me, you are a work of iniquity. Anything that ain't done in faith is sin. So use a transgressing individual. You know what I'm talking about? Again, we're talking about people who say they believe. Don't take this type of conversation to people who say they don't believe in the book. It don't apply to them. See, Asa got in trouble because he was the king of Yasharal, and he's supposed to sought to Yahuwah, but he sought to the healers. He didn't seek to Yahuwah. That's why Yahuwah said, I'm going to go ahead and kill this nigga. See, because King Hezekiah sought to Yahuwah, first when he became diseased, what did Yahuwah do? I said, I'm going to put some years on your life, one. Come on over here to that 38th chapter of Isaiah one time for the one time so you can see what I'm talking about. Come on, little muffin. Come on, little muffin. Come on. Come on. She got enough sense. She ain't gonna step down and fall. Come on, little muffin. Isaiah 38 and 1. Go on and get her. She might fall on that one. And in those days, Hezekiah was sick unto death. Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith Yahuwah, set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto Yahuwah, and said, Remember now, Yahuwah, I beseech you, how I walk before you in truth, and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in your sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of Yahuwah to Isaiah, saying, Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus saith Yahuwah, the Elohim of David, your Abba, I've heard your prayer, I've seen your tears, and behold, I will add unto your days 15 years. Just that simple. Just that simple. When he heard that, he went and sought after Yahuwah. That's the first thing he thought to do. You know, the average person who say they believe in the word, if they got some type of prognosis they ain't like, the first thing they gonna do is cry and seek to the doctors. I ain't saying you can't go holler at the doctor, but you supposed to holler at Yahuwah before you holler at the doctor. Come on back to the Epistle of James, chapter 5, verse 16. Confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, that you may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avail much. Elijah was a man subject to like passions as we are, and prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it rained not on the earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. And he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought forth her fruit. Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth, and one convert him, let him know that he which convert the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death, and shall hide a multitude of sins. See, that's the thing that ain't being done. But let's come over here to Job 13, and let's take a look right there. Hey, cut it out, boy. You're doing the most. You're being rude. Nah, don't try to look at me like that. Try to be stoic. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Yeah, you're the stubborn child, ain't you? Yeah, that means your tail good and soft, because your head good and hard. You stiff neck, little boy, ain't you? What you cheesing for? Ain't nothing funny. Job 13 and 1. Lo, my eye have seen all this, my ear have understood it. What you know, the same do I know also. I'm not inferior unto you. Let's look at inferior. I want to walk on over there and take them vittles. Yeah. Don't get them vittles, little muffin. Inferior here is Nephal. Nephal here is to be cast down, to be inferior to lie prostrate, to cause to fail. So always know, he said, I'm not lesser than you. Let's look at the next thing he said. Surely I will speak to the Almighty, and I desire to reason with Elohim, but you are forgers of lies, and you are all physicians of no value. Oh, that you would altogether hold your shalom, and it shall be your wisdom. Verse 4, though, specifically, what do you believe that means? He's talking to his friends, and he says they are forgers of lies. They are physicians of no value. Forgers, for your information, is to fall, to smear, to plaster over, to stick, to glue. They like to sew up and smear lies. Lies, for your information, is shakur. As you should know, this is lie, deception, disappointment, and falsehood. A betrayal. We've already talked about physicians. It's Rapha, it's healer. No value. Value here is Elil, of not, good for nothing, worthless. And that is also dealing with physicians, a shepherd, divination, or false god, something that is vain, something that is for nothing. So when he says that they are healers and shepherds that are worthless, what do you think that means? Scriptural references only, please. when he's speaking to his friends and say that they are healers of no value. Come on, little muffin. Oh, now you want to crawl. Go on and walk it out. Come on. There you go. There you go. Oh. Well, come on in. Oh, you seem to be excited. That excites you. I say no walking there. Hand me that beverage, son. Hand me that beverage. You not gonna hand me the beverage? But shoot, then bump you then. That's why you didn't get no French fry earlier.
No French fry.
I can roll with that, sir. I can roll with that. I can roll with that also. And the reason why this verse came to mind is, like I said before, I won't classify Joe Biden and Kamala, Funky Hoe, whatever you want to call her. But for the quote-unquote evangelical pastors and my homeboy who's supposed to be in the word, you would be a physician of no value. Let me show you why. Luke chapter 5. What's up, cuz? You got beef, cuz? You got beef, cuz? You got hamburgers? French fries? Chicken? Tacos? You ain't got nothing. Luke 5 and 27. We just read this the other day, but now we need this back in. After these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of custom. He said unto him, follow me. He left all and rose up and followed him. Levi made him a great feast in his own house. And there was a great company of publicans and others that sat down with him. But the scribes and Pharisees murmured against his disciples, saying, why did he eat and drink with publicans and sinners? Yahushua answering said unto them, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. See, I also wanted to mention this also. Individuals so worried about people dying from COVID, and people is sick with sin. But notice he said that those that are whole don't need a healer. Those that are sick, the sickness is sin. And that's what we don't want to talk about. That's what the people infected with. You around here, you got these people who call themselves preachers trying to preach somebody to get a doggone COVID vaccine instead of getting the sin out their life. Niggas around here whole punks and sissies. You know what I'm talking about? Whole liars and adulterers and idolaters. Ain't nobody got a problem with it. Nobody got a problem with it. So as he mentioned, Darius mentioned like the people in Egypt with the wonders they were working, they were healers of no value. They were for nothing. Everything they did was for nothing. Everything the scribes and Pharisees did was for nothing. Come to Matthew 15 to back that up. You can pick it up at verse 1. It's mine.
Hold on. I got them scissors.
Matthew 15 and 1. Then came the Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which are of Jerusalem, saying, why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition? For Elohim commanded, saying, honor your Abba and your Emma, and he that curse Abba or Emma, let him die to death. But you say, who shall say to his Abba or his Emma, it is a gift by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus you have made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. See, now that he shall be free, it ain't even there. He just say simple fact. And you're not honoring your father and your mother. You done made this man commandment of no value, nothingness, vanity, worthlessness. You hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw near unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching for the doctrines, the commandments of men. You worship this man for nothing. See, this is what people don't like to tell people. That your worship is for nothing. That your labor is for nothing. And it's for nothing because you're dealing with physicians of no value. They're not healers. See, the word is supposed to do something. Let's take a look at what it's supposed to do. Come over here. I think it's, do I want Ecclesiastes? I don't want Ecclesiastes. I desire something different. I desire Psalm 60 and 1. Psalm 60 and 1. Oh, you over there reading, little muffin? Oh, you are. Oh, you're an advanced baby. Oh, you're not an advanced baby. You reading over there, Renee? Oh, I thought you knew how to read. Not yet. Does Leah know how to read?
I'm still learning.
No. Very good. Very good attitude to have. Psalm 60 and 1. Who can't stop you? What you trying to do? You about to break somebody's ankles? Was you telling people they can't stop you? Oh, you a trash talker already. Psalm 60 and 1. O Elohim, you have cast us off. You have scattered us. You have been displeased. O turn yourself to us again. You have made the earth to tremble. You have broken it. Heal the breaches thereof, for it shake. Now let's look at breaches. And y'all should remember what breaches is. That's shavar. That's a fracture. Something has been broken. The verse before it has caused you to know what has caused it to be broken, because he is displeased. Why is he displeased? Because the people have sinned. Why have they sinned? Because these men have not shown you your iniquity to turn your banishment from you. That's what Jeremiah told you. So therefore, these people are physicians or healers of nothing, of vanity, of worthlessness. You have to pay attention to that. Man, all this stuff these dudes talking about, are they really physicians of value? Are they really giving you something of note on what they're supposed to be telling you? Because you're supposed to be getting healed. That's what's not, and that's what's not happening. People are not getting healed. They're still suffering from the same thing. Remember what Yahushua just said? He said, they that are whole don't need a physician, but those that are sick. We got some more for it. I'll keep on rolling for now. Verse 3 says, you have showed your people hard things. You have made us to drink the wine of astonishment. Uh-oh. Now, you know, when it comes to hard things, this is hard and difficult. Kashah, Kuf, Shan, and Hay. So what are you sitting back looking at? You're looking at the light of the man with raised arms was consumed. That's a hard thing to see, to watch the son of Elohim be killed. And he made him, and he showed his people something hard. You know he drunk the wine of astonishment, because you know that he drunk the wine of his wrath on Passover. Astonishment, for your informational purposes, is taralah, and that is reeling or staggering. Also trembling, or eat your bread and drink your water with fear and trembling. Let's continue. You gave them a banner to them that fear you, that it may be displayed because of your truth. You know, a banner is a standard. Nace, that is something that is lifted up. A signal, a sail, a rallying point. Our signal, our banner is Yahushua, because he was the one that was lifted up for those that actually reverenced and feared the Father in heaven. Let's continue. That your beloved may be delivered, save with your right hand and hear me. Elohim have spoken in his Kadash, I will rejoice. I will divide Sechim and mete out the valley of Sukkot. Gilead is mine. Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of my head, and Yehuda is my lawgiver. Uh-oh. Y'all remember that from Isaiah 33. We've already discussed that with that word kakak in regards to a lawgiver or one who decrees. Yahusha is his lawgiver. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? That takes us back to what we read in Isaiah 33 with that scroll, with the heavens being rolled up like a scroll, because he said he would be going through Bozrah. And we very well may return back to that because we're getting a linking back to it, because we have to link back to what he said he'll do to the sons of Belial in 2 Samuel 23. He said, will not you, O Elohim, who which have cast us off, and you, O Elohim, which did not go out with our armies, give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through Elohim we shall do valiantly, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies. Which takes us to the end with Yahusha, which you see in 2 Samuel 23, because he's the one who's going to tread down your enemies. Come to Psalms 107. We won't read all of Psalms 107 because it is long. So we have to get straight to the point. Straight to the point. We are going to pick this up in Psalms 107 and pick it up at verse 8. What you over there talking about? Psalms 107 and 8. Pop. What? 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 Psalms 107 and 8. Oh, that men would praise Yahuwah for his goodness, for his wonderful works to the sons of men, for he satisfied the longing soul. He filled the hungry soul with goodness. Remember, he that thirst and hunger after righteousness shall be filled. Such as sit in darkness and the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and in iron. Matthew 27. Matthew 27:1. Just so you can see the man bound in affliction and in iron. 27:1. What you doing, boy? Little hard-headed little boy. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Yahusha to put him to death. And when they bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Now let's look at the part of him sitting in darkness. We already read about what the name is. Dang, his name is escaping my brain. Give me a minute. It'll come to mind. I ain't gonna be able to come to mind. The prophet that was put into prison because he told Asa that he was gonna die, or that he would have wars because he did not obey or trust in the word of Yahuwah. Come to think, I think it's Matthew 26. It might be Mark though. Dang, I can't remember what it's done.
Stop.
Give me 1 second. She said, I will not. I will not. I will torment you. Well, what is you doing, boy? Hey! Hey! Yeah, come over here to John 18. I believe that's what I want. John 18 and 24. It says, now Annas had sent him bound unto Caiaphas the high priest. Simon Peter stood and warmed himself. They stood therefore unto him, and are you not one of his disciples? He denied it and said, I am not. One of the servants of the high priest, being his kinsman, who ear Peter cut off, said, did I not see you in the garden with him? Peter denied him again, and immediately the cock crew. Then they led Yahushua from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment, and it was early, and they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, that they might eat the Passover. Now this just relates because he said, such as sit in darkness in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron. Now remember, he said, what did he say in Matthew 26?
Nigga said, no, nigga, you was the nigga that cut me off.
Said, no, you cut my cousin ear off, boy. Boy, I seen you, boy. That nigga came around there, boy. We called him one. That's how you that's how you know them with black people. You know what I'm talking about? That's how you know. See, it's certain stuff, man. I used to tell you this all the time. It's certain stuff how you see how them people interact with each other that you know them with black people. But that was you, boy. Boy, you cut off my cousin ear, boy, Marcus. Oh, my mama. Boy, I'm phoning them, boy. On God, boy, that wasn't me, boy. You know what I'm talking about? That's what them boys say on phone them, boy. You cut that boy ear off, boy. I'm telling you, we call him one now. We don't even call him Malchus. We just call him Onekis. That boy ain't got no more ears. You cut your ear off? Who cut your ear off? How I cut your... Oh, boy, now you're telling stories? You did. Why you cut your sister ear off? Well, why would you cut your own hair off? That's just irregular. Oh, so now you committing attempted murder. Matthew 26 and 43. Matthew 26 and 43. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. He left them and went away, and again prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then come he to his disciples, say unto them, sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand that the Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of sinners. Rise and let us be going. Behold, he that is at hand that betray me. So again, he's sitting in darkness in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron. Come back to Psalm 60 and 12 and 11. And why is he sitting in this? Why is this happening to him? Because they rebelled against the words of Elohim and contemned the counsel of the Most High, because the people rejected the word. Contemn this means to abhor. They hated the word. They hated his counsel. Let me say that. Excuse me. We got rebelled. That's marad. They were contentious. They were disobedient towards. They were rebellious. They disobeyed. They disobeyed the word. They abhorred his counsel. So you have to pay attention to that people that don't like the word and don't like his advice. See, that's going back to what is his advice if you're sick. His advice is for you to pray and to fast and to gather as a body of believers in one, to make a prayer in one on that person's behalf, because the effectual prayer of a righteous man avail much. But see, most people don't believe that. Most people don't believe that this man gonna move on their behalf. That's why he don't move. That's why he say you can't ask this man doubting, because you have a double mind and the Lord is not going to give you anything. See, people come to you and they ask for things with doubt in their heart. So why would this man even do anything for you when you doubt his ability to do it? That means you doubt the word which he left behind for you to trust him in. He's not gonna do nothing for you. That's why people who say they believe in the word will tell you go over there and go see Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and go get a poke. But see, I meant to read this earlier, but I mentioned it to you now. These niggas say they believe the word and you need to get a vaccine and this, that, there, and the third, when the book say, do not touch those that have the mark of Elohim in their forehead. Well, these people know they sinners and they going to hell. Because how they read this book and they don't have that same level of confidence that we have, that we should have as a collective. Because I can read Ezekiel 8, and when he saw that man through there to murk them people, that man said, don't touch nobody who got the seal of Elohim in their forehead. You leave them alone. That man told you in Psalms 90, if you serve Yahuwah, pestilence won't even come up to your doorstep. So what do you mean? And even if it did come up to my doorstep, I'm not going to say, well, I got to be wicked. Let me doubt Yahuwah now. If it be his will, I'll arise from this sickness. And if it's not, then I'll go to the grave. But either way it go, Yahuwah is just. Now, I meant to grab this Isaiah 57. Let me grab it right now for the smarty yard niggas that say, what if a righteous man get it? I'm going to show you this would happen if a righteous man get it, you wicked, unbelieving, slick-talking bastard Jew. Because we know you always got the old tempting niggas who don't believe the word, thinking you isolating something out. If it's a righteous man and you know he a righteous man and he caught COVID or any other malady or disease and he died, and you just turn around and somebody want to talk that trash, then you just going to give him this Isaiah 57:1. Then what you serve him up with. Serve it up really nice and hot too. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you put it in the oven. Cook at a good about 400 degrees. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have it nice and moist. It's all fluffy for him. Serve it to him with no icing. Serve it to him with no icing, straight cake. 57:1, Isaiah. The righteous perish and no man lay it to heart. Merciful men are taken away, and none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. He shall enter into shalom, they shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. Let's just break it down to him again for the dumb niggas in the back. So when he tell you that the righteous will perish, you know that's a dak abad. Abad is simply means to perish, to vanish, to be destroyed, to be killed, or to be exterminated. So he'll tell you that the righteous perish, Yahusha, and nobody laid it to heart. Nobody sat back and said to themselves, you know what? Let me take this here and set my mind and affix my mind to what just happened here. That's what nobody don't do. People die, and the first thing they want to do is blame Yahuwah or say that person wicked. But the book just told you that a righteous man perished, and merciful men perish, and none considering, B'nai, understanding, having insight, that these men are taken away from the face of evil. Because from is panem. So they're taken away from the face of evil, or taken from before or behind before it can even happen, that they're taken away from the evil to come, so they ain't got to suffer that. But these people who say they know the book and can comfort the souls of the righteous, how is this possible? How is this possible? He say they enter into shalom and they rest in their beds. Nuah is for rest, which y'all know, or Nuah is for rest. And he say each one is walking in their uprightness. Uprightness in this regard is nakoach, straightness to be in front of, in integrity. Revelation chapter 14 on general principle. What you over there talking about, little muffin? You over there trying to get snacks? You don't even like chips or whore. I don't see how you niggas eat them super high Funyuns, boy. Yeah, that's dangerous. That's dangerous to be around there eating them super hot Funyuns.
Anything hot.
I'll pass. 14:10, Book of Revelation. Come here, little muffin. Hey, little muffin. Hey. Revelation 14:10. The same shall drink. Oh, let me make it verse 9. And the third Malachim followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the Kadash Malachim and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascend up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast in his image, whosoever receive the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the faithful. Here are they that keep the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yahushua. And I heard a voice from Shamahim saying unto me, right, Baruch are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Ruach, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. See, that's what we don't consider, because I'm telling you, most people don't believe the book. Oh, would you like to get down now? Would you like to get down now? You smell like you boo-boo. You boo-boo, don't come all over here at one time. That's because you don't listen. That's what that was for, because you don't listen. A lot of people don't believe that. Come back to Isaiah 57:1 again and just ponder upon it. The righteous perish and no man lay at the heart. Merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. He shall enter into shalom. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. Let me tell you something, man. For the stuff that's going to go down in the earth, do you know what level of mercy that is for Yahuwah to take you out of the earth so you don't see it? Remember what he told Solomon? He told Solomon he'd go to his grave in peace. He wouldn't see Jerusalem get taken. His kingdom get taken and given to another. He told Ahab after he did all that he did, and he told him he'll kill everybody that piss against the wall. He said, because you made yourself humbled and tender-hearted in front of me, he said, you won't see it in your time. That's what he told him. See, we don't consider that because we ain't paying attention to the book. People go through the word for the wrong reason. Back to Psalms 107. You're looking like you're tired. Are you tired? At least you're honest. Back to Psalms 107. We in verse 12. Indeed, amen. Psalm 107:12. Therefore he brought down their heart with labor. They fell down and there was none to help. Brought down is kana, that is to humble, to be subdued, to be brought into subjection, to humble oneself, ka, nun, and ayin. You know that Yahushua was subdued and it brought forth life. And he humbled himself even unto death, even the death of the stake. And he said he brought down their heart with labor. Amal, trouble, mischief. Takes us back to what? Just man fall 7 times, just man fall 7 times, but rise again, because he fell into 7 abominations. Or as Job put it in the 5th chapter, 6 troubles, even 7, and Elohim will deliver you from them all. And he said, and there was none to help. Listen what he said in verse 13. Then they cried unto Yahuwah in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses. My Elohim, why have you forsaken me? And he was heard, and that he feared. Verse 15, oh, that men would praise Yahuwah for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the sons of men. He have broken the gates of brass and cut the bars of iron in sunder. Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted. Now, just on that statement alone, I don't even have the time. Fools, I'm going to see what y'all going to tell me. Oh, we lost the page. Did you lose the page? I lost the page. Why you let me lose the page, Pot? You did. Didn't she, little muffin? Did she let me lose the page? Yeah. That's right, little muffin. So, fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted. What does that verse mean? Go. Gail, sit down. You tired, boy? What does that verse mean? You tell me. What may I do for you, Gail? Gail, what may I do for you? Just sit down somewhere. Hey, little muffin. Hello, Lizzie. Pot. Tubby. Y'all ain't got nothing for me. Well, I wasn't expecting you to have nothing, Renee. What does that verse mean? I know somebody got something for me. It's easy too. At least in my opinion, it is. Maybe it's just me. You reap what they sow, come to mind. Oh, no. Fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted. What does it mean? What you talking about, little muffin? Don't make me have to go through the book for this one here, man. I figured y'all know this one here, man. I wouldn't have to do all of that. They're going to make me have to do it, little muffin. Do you know Little Muffin? No rest for the wicked care. No. Not on that one. It look like we're going to have to do it, Little Muffin. We're going to have to do it. You got something back there, sir? That nigga sleep. Huh? You got something for that? He ain't got nothing for that.
No.
You do? You raising your hand like you in school? You ain't even been to school yet. You don't even know how to talk. It's okay, Little Muffin. I'm going to take care of it for him. Come over here to the book of Proverbs. Be quiet. Calm down. Proverbs 7, first and foremost.
Not funny.
7 and 16.
About it. What chapter?
Proverbs chapter 7, verse 16. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Mizraim. Remember that, yeah, that you rolling down that trail, that indeed, because it tell you that we fools for Hamashiach's sake. But remember, the verse is telling you that fools, because of their transgression and because of their iniquities, are afflicted. Now, of course, y'all know fools is evil. That's someone who is foolish, or one who mocks when guilty, one who is quarrelsome, one who despises wisdom. When we look at transgression, of course, you know that it's pasha, that is rebellion. Iniquities is avan, afflicted is anah, that is to be oppressed or to be humbled. They don't seek repentance, hence they are punished. Indeed. Indeed. Little baby. But let's look at this here, right? So remember when Mashiach died, we put him in fine linen. I perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloe, and cinnamon. Remember that Mary anointed his body for his burial. Come, let us take our fill of love unto the morning. Remember, I'll give you a pause. Our fill of love in this regard takes us here. Leave stuff alone, boy. I'm just about to reference Songs of Solomon 8 and 6. But I ain't going to recall all of it off the top of my head. Verse 7, actually. Well, I give you 6. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which have a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all his substance of his house for love, it would be utterly contemned, utterly abhorred, if you will, in regards to that he had so much love for Yasharal that he hated his own body because he was willing to die. So when you look at it, let us solace ourselves with love, or take our fill of love into the morning. His love is him going to the grave until the morning. And of course, he rose from the dead. Let's continue. Verse 19, for the good man is not his home. He is gone on a long journey. He have taken a bag of money with him. He will come home at the day appointed. With her fair speech, she caused him to yield, and with the flattering of her lips, she forced him. Judas. He go after her straightway as an ox go to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hastes to the snare and know not that it is for his life. Now, of course, Yahushua knew that was for his life. You know that he went as a fool to the correction of the stocks, and a dart struck through his liver. But let's continue our journey. Proverbs chapter 14. Put that down. Put that down, little Muffy. 14 and 9. Well, you know what? No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want 14 and 9. That's something different. I was thinking about something else. Proverbs 19 is what I desire. 19 and 29. Little Muffin, you can't eat those. You're going to choke. Proverbs 19 and 29. You can make it 28 on general principle. Shoot, 27. 19 and 27. Hey. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Proverbs 19 and 27. Why y'all can't sit down and be still, son? Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that calls to err from the words of knowledge. Now, we done talked about this verse before, but you need to stop listening to people that are going to cause you to err from the words of Elohim. That's why I even mentioned that stuff with people telling you to get the vaccine, to love your neighbor. That's causing people to cause you to err from the words of knowledge. Because that's not what that man told you, bro. Now, if you sought to Yahuwah, and then you just, and whatever you perceive that he has delivered unto you, then that's between you and Yahuwah. You go get a vaccine after that, that's your personal business. But if you go get a vaccine before you seek to Yahuwah, then you have a problem. Because the whole point of the matter is to seek Yahuwah's face first when you're suffering from any manner of affliction, irregardless to what it is. That is the point that I'm trying to convey. That people who say they are of the faith are not conveying unto others. I heard a brother talking about this the other day, and he pretty much saying this along the same thing. He was talking about something different in regards to people not coming up with no solution. Because, of course, y'all know we ain't been talking about no COVID or thinking about no COVID in that regard. This brother said these dudes out here trying to show COVID in the book, trying to tell people again that the mark of the beast is the COVID vaccine, all this type of stuff that make themselves look foolish and in turn tarnishes the minds of people in regards to the word. But then you have to look at it like this here. That's Yahuwah's will that people's mind get tarnished towards the word for listening to dudes who don't know what they talking about. And we fail to realize that and take that into account, that that's what Yahuwah wants to happen. He wants people to listen to a stupid nigga trying to show through the text that COVID-19 is in the book so they don't believe his word so he can destroy them. See, we don't consider that. See, he wants a person to say, y'all believe in them fairy tales when they trying to convince you that the COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast, because he wants them people to take the real mark of the beast when that time comes. But we don't consider that. We don't consider that, hey, maybe that person died from COVID because Yahuwah wanted them dead. See, we don't consider that. We want to put it on. People say the enemy killed them. So you calling Yahuwah an enemy, don't even know it. Blasphemer, don't even know it. See, people do that and don't even know it. The enemy ain't killed nobody because the enemy ain't got that type of power no more. How do we know this? Because the book told you that he destroyed who had power over death. That is the devil. But in that regard, that's just the second death. But the first death, Yahuwah got power over that. Because he said he create light and darkness, good and evil. And he said, I, Yahuwah, have done all these things. And if evil be done in the city, have not I, Yahuwah, done it? The devil don't get to make a call about who live and who die. I don't know where the niggas get that from. Where do people get that from? Satan does not have a say in who lives and who dies. And we should know that from the text, because he had to ask Job for permission to touch Job. Satan don't have that type of power, man. See, what they would say, well, what about him seeking about who he may devour? He's seeking to who he can devour with their own desires. All Satan can do is put in front of you your own lusts and hope that you be tempted enough to turn from the word to go after your own lust. That's all he can do. At the end of the day, Satan ain't took you out, you took yourself out. It's just easy to blame Satan, because then you can feel like you'll be absolved from what you've done. If you're tired, go get in bed. Stuff don't make no sense. Hey, boy, be quiet and leave it alone. You want to go get in the bed? Go get in the bed. You want to go get in the bed? Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. You're hard-headed, boy. That's what we have to ask ourselves. Ask yourself that question. You don't realize who are killing these people, man? You would be killing these people, man. Ain't no devil doing this. People be blaspheming. And if you around people who mention that, you shouldn't be like, oh, you dummy, you don't know what you talking about. But you should let them know, like, hey, brother, hey, sister, like, what you saying, you really blaspheming, you don't really know it. Because you've been led to believe that when somebody died, oh, it's the devil's fault. Like Yahuwah don't want people dead. That's what they done led you to believe. Verse 28, ungodly witness scorn judgment. That's what you seen with them people who were trying to witness that Yahushua was a false prophet. They mock judgment. But that's another conversation. And the mouth of the wicked devour iniquity. They definitely do. Judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. What did they do to Yahushua? Did they not scourge him? Because stripes are for the back of fools. So when we come back to Psalms 107 and 17, and we see fools because of their transgressions or because of their iniquities are afflicted, Yahushua became a fool in the eyesight of man because he suffered for your rebellion and your iniquities. See, he became a fool for your sake. Uh-oh. Where is the respect? Where is the respect for a man that became something that he is not for other people? I think there's one more thing in Ecclesiastes that I desire. Let me see. No. Shoot, that's his problem. That's on him. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what that is. You who are willing to come back to mine. Let's come on back over here to verse 18. Their soul abhor all manner of meat, and they draw near unto the gates of death. How does this refer to Yahushua and that? What is this to say? I just read that their soul abhor all manner of meat, as they draw near to the gates of death. What does that refer to? Who can tell me what that refers to? Hello, little mother. How are you? Hey. What you mean? Who you talking to? You sure got a lot to say, don't you, Muffin? You do. Did any of y'all know what that means? Can anybody tell me what that means? That their soul abhor all manner of meat, as they draw near to the gates of death. Hey, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. Why do I have to tell y'all the same thing over and over again? Isaiah and Abigail, you're stubborn. You're rebellious. You're contentious. Oh, no, that's after that. Abhor means to hate, so he doesn't want to eat. Yeah, he doesn't want to eat because he's near unto death. Muffin man, leave her alone. Abigail, get somewhere and sit. Anybody? Going once? You know Muffin Man? What the answer is then? Ain't no F. This ain't no multiple choice. Did you hear me give that an option? So then why would you say it? Oh, because you just wanted to give a funny, huh? Yeah, that's what you wanted to do. Come over here to... Yes, sir. That is in the general vicinity. John 18. Muffin Man, leave that baby alone. Boy, my boy, Muffin Man. You heard me call you boy. Leave her alone. It's 19. My apologies. 19. 19 and 28. Oh. No, it's not hate knowledge on that one. After this, Yahushua knowing that all things were now accomplished. No, that's not the one I want. My fault. I think I need this here in Matthew. Oh my God. I dropped my phone. Because he take the vinegar there. I don't want that one. Don't want that one. 27 and 33 of Matthew. That's what I desire. Go throw that away, boy. Matthew 27 and 33, they were coming to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of the skull. They gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall, and when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And when they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, they parted my garments, and upon my vestures did they cast lots, and sitting down they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written. This is Yahushua, the Malach of the Yahudim. So, of course, you know, they came to shoot him with the vinegar, and he did not want to eat. He abhorred it. He hated it because he was near unto the gates of death. Verse 19 of Psalms 107. Hey. Little gap tooth, baby. Yes, little gap tooth, baby. He said, then they cry unto Yahuwah in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses. He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from destruction. Now, of course, you know, we're going to look at sent. You have Salah, that is to send, Shalak, that is to send away, Shan, Lamach, and Kai. You get paired to the shepherd and separated because he sent this word, and that was your Rapha. That is what healed you. See, that's what individuals don't even realize. That is the word that's delivering you from your destructions. Your destruction here is Shakith, and that is the pit. He delivered you from the grave. His word has delivered you from the grave. That's what it healed you from. That's why you take your physicians of no value, your vanity. All idols are vanity. Any doctrines outside the doctrine of salvation is vanity. These are forgers of no lies. And that's why it says a man who ruleth amongst men must be just, ruling in the fear of Yahuwah, because how else are you going to be a physician of value if you don't even fear Yahuwah, to even understand that he has delivered you from the grave? You understand? Which is why you don't want him to take his free spirit or his noble or kingly or princely mind from you. See, that's why the text tells you in that epistle letter to the Hebrews that it's impossible for a man who's been alighted for the Ruach to fall away to renew again or to be converted or to shub to repentance. That's impossible. How you go from a mind of a king to a mind of a pauper? Make that make sense. See, what you got is you got a lot of dudes faking to be kings when they was really court jesters, suckers, and chumps from the get-go. You don't get the mind of a king and go backwards. See, what you see with Saul never had the mind of a king, so it wasn't no issue for him to fall off. See, David had the mind of a king, it wasn't no issue. Some will say, well, Solomon fell off. No, see, Solomon got caught up how most men get caught up, which is why the book tell you not to do it. Is you get caught up trying to please a woman. And it'll happen real good when you get old. But most men get caught up trying to please a woman. That's why he told you don't deal with women or people who have other gods, because they're going to persuade you to serve their God, because you're going to be persuaded to try to please that woman. That's what most men have made their error at, is going above and beyond to please a woman. You ought to please your Elohim before you please anybody. If your woman ain't pleased because you please Elohim, then she ain't the woman for you. But see, that thing come in at is dude be desperate. But see, that's a whole nother conversation, man. You're desperate for some female validation and some and company. So therefore, you'll compromise your manhood and your purposes and your quote unquote morals and ethics and codes of conduct of what you stand on and live by in order to satiate and appease her. And that cannot be done, because Yahuwah does not compromise his godliness for anyone. So why are men doing it? Didn't have the nerve, the unmitigated gall, to blame the woman for their lack of masculinity. See, that can't swing, man. That can't swing, man. That just can't work. You know what I'm saying? That just can't work. You have to get with a woman who wants to be faithful to Elohim, that she has a desire to swing in that direction. The problem is that dudes are grabbing women who don't want to swing in that direction and think you can move her in that direction, and then don't even give enough time to prove out that woman even trusts in you, because you so worried about getting some buns. That's what a lot of niggas problem is. You think with your penis. You know what I'm saying? Why is you thinking with your penis? The woman you choose to share a house with is the greatest decision you're going to ever make. This woman's going to produce your offspring. This is going to be the feminine influence on your legacy. That is very, very important decision that cannot be taken lightly. And dudes take it lightly. Very, very lightly. Don't take it as serious as they should. And then get upset at women for wanting things that women want. But we didn't talk about this here, right? And we didn't talk about this, and I'm going to mention this here, and I'm going to move on. Y'all know the text say that Yahuwah know your frame, but you are but dust. I didn't explain this to y'all before. So therefore, he can have compassion and understand how to deal with and move, prod, push, guide, whatever the case may be, to get you to go in the direction that he wants you to go in. You should already know. If you know the text tell you that woman is a weaker vessel, then you should already know her frame. If you know her frame, you shouldn't be upset with her about her nature. You should be able to use her nature to your benefit and not allow that to frustrate you. That makes no sense. If you say that you are greater than her, if you say you're the stronger vessel, if she's the weaker vessel, then how can the weaker vessel give you so much consternation unless you're on the same plane as the weaker vessel? Though Yahushua lowered himself as a weaker vessel, is becoming flesh, he was compassionate enough to be able to go through every experience that flesh goes through. He never allowed flesh to see. The only time you see Yahushua frustrated was because the people didn't believe. That's what made him upset more than anything when you read in the text. The lack of mercy, the lack of compassion, and the hardness of hearts in regards to unbelief. That frustrated him. But he understood their frame. But the thing is he never let them see that he was frustrated. They only caught it one good time when he whooped they behind for hustling in his house. And I can't even say that's even showing any type of anger, because you disrespecting my home. That's what you're supposed to do to somebody who disrespect your home. They supposed to get some type of chastisement, because that ain't supposed to slide. You can't come in people's house and disrespect their home and think that junk just gonna slide and everything gonna be gravy. You know what I'm saying? But it leads to that, because your Elohim understand your frame. That's why I be telling y'all that at the end of the day, if you're a man and you say that Yahusha is your head and his father is his head, which means you're being guided by the Father and the Son. That means that you understand that you say that I possess or seek to possess the Ruach of the living Elohim. That means you have a mind of a king. And no matter how rough people want to look at it, this is why he say, he that's greatest among you, let him be your servant. If you know that you're greater than your kids and your wife, then how could they ever frustrate you to the point that you lose frame? You would already understand that I am greater than them. That's why I'm the leader of this outfit. They look for me for direction and guidance. So how can I be frustrated or lose my cool because they're seeking for me the very thing that I told them that I have? That means I'm supposed to have the patience, the mercy, the understanding, the long suffering, and the self-control to be able to facilitate whatever type of information or direction or chastisement or whatever the case may be that they need. There's no way in the world that I should be getting outsmarted, outflanked, and frustrated by a child, much less a woman. That makes absolutely no sense. The only way you're getting frustrated by children or women if they're extremely rebellious. And if they're extremely rebellious, then you already know what to do. You already know what to do. They got to go. You know what I'm talking about? Because you wouldn't spend your time around men who are extremely rebellious. You would separate yourselves from their company, I would hope. Because I'm just telling you what, if we're going to have a kingly mind, that doesn't mean you disrespect people that crazy, because Saul was not worthy to be respected. David gave him respect based off the office of what he held and the type of man that David was. Now, we're going to have Sean mentioned it yesterday. We won't get to it today. But we'll look at, there's many aspects of a story in Samuel, the multitude of areas, and we'll more than likely talk about it tomorrow. We haven't talked about it in a few years, but there's a multitude of avenues in 2 Samuel 25 that can be elucidated on, and we probably will. Return back to 2 Samuel chapter 23. Now, in verse 4, the last part of it, we haven't talked about that. And he says, as the tender grass springing out of the earth by clear shining after rain. Now, if none of you know what that means, I think we just talked about something as forth as grass sprouting out of the earth. The verse was just in my brain, and then it departed. Well, it was in Psalm 73. Praise you. So we mentioned that in Psalm 73 about the mown grass. So we talked about that last week. When you're looking at the tender grass springing out of the earth, see, the springing is not there. So you just have tender grass out of the earth. And what you have tender grass is you have Desha, Dalit, Shan, and Aleph. So we see that there was a sacrifice that pairs you to Yahusha. And that grass means new grass, vegetation, young. See, what we want to focus on here is new grass. Why do we want to focus on new grass? Because the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. And they will meet him in the air, and they will forever be with him. That's why you see tender grass or new grass out of the earth. Philippians chapter 3, verse 17, if you would. Are you tired? Or why are you sitting there looking like that? Do you not understand? You don't. It's okay if you don't. It's not like you're going to get in trouble because you don't understand. What do you not understand, Renee? Philippians 3 and 17. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as you have us for an example. For many walk, of whom I've told you often, and now tell you, weeping, they are the enemies of the stake of Mashiach, whose end is destruction, whose Elohim is their belly, whose esteem is in their shame, who mind earthly things. For our conduct is in Shamahim, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall change our vile body, that it might be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. So what is the point of the matter here that we're discussing? And when it comes to that, this new grass coming out of the earth after clear shining after rain. Well, we want to look at clear shining, just so y'all know what that is. That is no God. That is brightness. That is a clear light. We've already talked about that. Talked about it Wednesday. In the evening time, it shall be light, or as the sun of righteousness shall rise with healing in his wings. When you look at the after rain, of course, that is matar, that is literal rain. So that's the early, latter rain, ruach coming down, resurrecting people from the dead, things of that sort. Because again, this is David's last song before he dies. This is his last thing that he has to say to the people that he's writing down, and what he's giving out of his last stanzas, if you will, is the coming of the Lord, coming of Yahushua, the return of Elohim upon the earth to begin to take claim of what rightfully is his. Let's continue in verse 5. He said, although my house be not so with Elohim, yet he hath made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things and sure, for this is all my salvation and all my desire, although he make it not to grow. So let's take this in this regard. He said, although my house be not so with Elohim. That one there's nothing in between. It's just Bat and Elohim. So just know that not so. None of that is important. But he said he made with him an everlasting covenant. We talked about this already. He made the everlasting covenant by saying that he would give him a son who would sit upon his throne. We talked about that a couple months ago. You have the everlasting covenant when Yahushua told them, drink, this is my blood of the new covenant, which is an everlasting covenant with continual endurance, according to Jeremiah 31. So we don't need to continue to rehash that. When we look at he ordered in all things ashore, when you look at Samar for sure, these things that have been guarded, they have been watched over, they have been observed, they have been treasured up into memory. He has set that in order and it is treasured up. But this is the last part that I want you to think on. I'm going to ask you about. He say, for this is all my salvation and all my desire, although he make it not to grow. Scriptural answers. What does that last part mean? What do you believe that is pointing to? Of course, desire is kafetz, which y'all already know. That is what he delights and take pleasures in. So the salvation of Yahuwah is what he delights and takes pleasure in. Of course, you know salvation is Yeshua. That is deliverance. That is salvation. That is safety. That is welfare. That is victory. But he say he don't make it to grow. What can this mean scripturally? What can you tie this to? Well, let me not say scripturally, because then I would be ruling out the New Testament. You either got scripture, gospel, or letter, and that's where you're going to find your answer at. Either in the scripture, gospel, or letter. Where are you going to find it at? Samak, of course, is for to spring up and to grow. He does not allow the salvation that he delights in to spring up and grow. What could it mean? I'm waiting on y'all to tell me. This should be easy. Y'all should know this one here, man. There's a lot of stuff I'd be like, boy, these be home runs for y'all, man. Do you be stuck? Is you tired? Has it been a long day? You let me know. I'm waiting on y'all. It's time for you to go to bed, Abigail. So go brush your teeth and wash your face and go get your stubborn butt in the bed. Go. Go get in the bed. You musket. You musket. You musket habit. What you doing, Abigail? Y'all got any idea what that gonna mean? It's an easy one, man. I narrowed it down for you. One of the answers in the epistle letters. And it'll spring forth out of that. Let me know if you want me to tell you what epistle letter it is. I'll tell you what epistle letter it is if y'all don't know, so you can find it. Because I got time, cuz. Y'all just sitting here looking at me crazy. So I got my hat on because that's the cap. Because I know y'all know what the answer is. So I got to put my hat on when y'all don't want to give me the answer when I feel like y'all know what the answer is. Y'all want me to tell you what letter it is or not? Or y'all figure it, or y'all can figure it out. No. Not time to be silly.
A.
So they give you the letter. And I said letter, not actual letter in the alphabet. A letter that someone has written. An epistle is a letter. Do you know what a letter is? Mm-hmm. What is a letter? Yes, that is correct. Something that you write down and send to someone. The epistle letter is the epistle of the Hebrews. What does he mean when he says that his salvation is his delight, but he does not cause it to grow? I think that's 2 Samuel 23:5. Put that down and sit down. I give you about what this is. When we at 156.30, I give you the 158. 158, and I'm going to roll with it. I ain't got no filler for you. I'm just going to let you roll with it. It's an easy question, man. I know it might not just come to mind. A lot of stuff, y'all be knowing that stuff, y'all be overthinking. Y'all feel like sometimes the answer's got to be some deep manifestation, some deep mystery, and it's really not. Y'all be knowing the answer. Y'all just be overthinking. I'm trying to get y'all out of the habit of overthinking. Don't overthink. Sit back and assess and give the answer that properly fits to what's in front of you. Overthinking causes you to question yourself. When you go to question yourself, you go to question your instruction. When you go to question your instruction, and theoretically you're questioning your teacher, which would be Elohim. Because though a man may be the one who teaches you, it's Yahuwah himself who instructs the reins of your heart. I can't instruct the reins of your heart. I don't have that type of power. I don't have that type of ability. And plus, it's not my word. So, let's go to the epistle of the Hebrews. Let's hit chapter 11. I'm going to move around a bit. I'm going to start at verse 32 because I'm not going to enumerate the entirety of this chapter. So Hebrews 11 and 32. And what more shall I say, for the time would fail me to tell of Gideon. Y'all know who Gideon is? If you don't, you need to go read the book of Judges. Of Barak. If you don't know who Barak is, you need to go read the book of Judges. Of Samson. If you don't know who Samson and of Jephthah is, you need to go read the book of Judges. Of David, of course, whom we're reading. And of Samuel and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they may obtain a better resurrection. Others had trial of cruel mockings, scourgings, yea, moreover, bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and the caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. Elohim having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. So when we're looking at this particular passage where he tells you, excuse me, let me get there, that for all this is, remember, right? He said, although my house be not so with Elohim. So he's saying again, that be not so is not in the equation. Because you got so, thus, all that is not in the equation. The lo, which is the and not, and no. So my house, Elohim. He said, yet he have made an everlasting covenant, set in order and guarded it. He said, this is all my salvation. It is what I delight in, but he has not made it to grow. So it's letting you know that all these righteous men that came before the manifestation of John the Baptist, who set the pathway to set straight, the straight ways, the crooked ways straight and things of that sort, with Yahushua coming after him, he had not caused that to grow. So when we seen that in Hebrews 11, when they tell you all these men had a good report through faith, but none of them received the promise because he would not make them perfect without us. That's why I've always told you, you're in a better state after Mashiach than before, because you have a greater level of mercy that has been levied unto you. Because you now have been allowed to understand the deep mysteries of Elohim. The wonderful works of Elohim have been made manifest, plain and open to your sight. That you have ability to be partaker of the free Ruach, or AKA the mind of the king. That's why we started that earlier when it said that Elohim is a Ruach, and that who is the king of esteem? Yahuwah is the king of esteem. For you to understand that Elohim is a Ruach and Elohim is a king. To have the Ruach of Elohim is to have the mind of a king. If you have the mind of a king, then you conduct yourself as a king. You operate as a king. And kings just don't operate in the fashion that you see kings operate in the worldly sense. Because that ain't, see, that's the number one thing that we have to stop doing. We have to stop conflating and integrating what men do with Elohim. How men conduct themselves and rule their kingdoms have absolutely nothing to do with the ways, works, standards, righteousness, and kadashness of the living Elohim. So there's no need to compare the two. Because whether people like it or not, for the majority of human history, kings ruled over countries. It is what it is, and Yahuwah set those kings up. There's always been different classes of people. It is what it is. This is not a new thing. It's not anything new. It's been going on since man has been upon the earth. You've had lower classes. You've had upper lower classes. You've had middle classes. You've had upper middle classes. You've had higher classes. It is what it is. Some people are born of noble. You don't think that the house of David was of a higher class than anybody in the house of Judah through the kingdom of Yehuda? You don't think that's not the case? The difference is what the instruction of Yahuwah gave, that he that is greatest among you, let him be a servant. Not just because Yahuwah gave that instruction don't mean everybody going to follow it. The reason why I say that, how do we know that? Because he said the elder shall serve the younger. So there's always been that's always been set. That's not something that Yahushua just came up with on his own. That's not a new thing. You can see that with David. David was greater and he served Saul. Even though Saul was king, David was greater than him. Yahuwah was with him. Doesn't matter that Saul was king. David was greater than him and he served him. Saul had been disposed of being king and David had been informed he was king and he still served him. So that's not a New Testament concept. So the concept of being greater and servant, that is the concept of Elohim, period. It tells you that in Deuteronomy 17 when it enumerates what the king was supposed to do, because it said he wasn't supposed to multiply certain things to himself lest he lifted up his heart above his brethren. So that's always been the way of Yahuwah. So we can't, you don't need to be judging other monarchies based off of judging Yahuwah's monarchy based off of theirs. That ain't got nothing to do with us. And you can't be upset because people are kings and queens on the earth. That's Yahuwah's doing. That's when you beginning to exercise yourself in matters too high for you. That ain't got nothing to do for you. Stick to your pay grade and worry about the things that concern to you. That's one of the biggest problems of most people who on this earth. You worry about things that ain't got nothing to do with you. Who cares if you don't like Queen Elizabeth and what she's doing? Let that woman store up the day of iniquity against her soul and leave that rotten hoe alone. You know what I'm talking about? She ain't bothering you. Let that woman go to hell in luxury. That's her business. She was created for that cause and purpose. Let Yahuwah's will be accomplished. Don't get upset with Donald Trump and Sleepy Joe and Kamala. They were born for this purpose. He is using them for the purpose to bring esteem to his name. Let them people store up iniquity against the day of judgment and go about and continue to proclaim the goodness of Yahuwah and let his righteousness be known and live your life in a set apart fashion and let them people receive the reward that was meet for them from the foundation of the world. You have to have enough understanding of Yahuwah to know that. Ain't no need to getting frustrated with these people. Ain't no need. Because you have understanding to know, I know what your end going to be. Ain't that what he said in Psalm 55? He said, oh, I spoke too hastily. And then I went into the house of Elohim and I seen what their end was going to be. And my soul was put at ease. Let's come over here to that song, what I'm talking about. I want to say it's 55. I might be mistaken. See, I'm trying to lead up something. I'm finna let y'all slide about him dealing with the sons of Belial. It's always a segue like the TV people say. It's always a segue. That's what the TV people say. That's a segue. See, we like to do segues. That ain't what it is. Dang, it's escaping me. Give me a second. Give me a second. It will come to mind in a minute. It will come to mind in a minute. It's escaping me. We don't have that type of time this evening. We don't have that type of time this evening. What you want, little boy? What you want, little boy? Little boy. Y'all willing to come back to mind. Come on, get 2 Samuel 23. We got to get out of here. So let's look at verse 6. He said, but the sons of Belial shall be all of them as thorns thrust away. They cannot be taken with hands. So, taken, of course, is lakak, that is to fetch or to be seized. And what scripture lets you know about not being taken with hands? Because it tells you in Daniel 8 that he will take down that beast and he shall be taken down without hands. Come over here to Daniel 8 for those who do not know what I'm talking about. Get yourself together in there, little boy. (23) Daniel 8 and 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy wonderfully and prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and Kadash people. Through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Well, why is he broken without hand? Because he said these sons of Belial, these sons of worthlessness, these sons of the adversary, base fellows, wicked men, that they cannot be taken with hands. Revelation 19 on the house. Revelation 19 on the house. 19 and 11. And I saw Shamahim open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he do judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had his name written that no man knew, but he himself. He was clothed with a vesture, dipped in blood. His name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in Shamahim followed upon him with white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth go a sharp sword, and with it he should smite the nations. He shall rule them with a rod of iron. He shall tread the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty Elohim, and on his vesture, on his thigh, a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So now we see why the sons of Belial are as thorns thrust away, that cannot be taken with hands, because they shall be slain with the sword. No one will put hands on them. No need to put hands on them. The thrust away is to retreat, to flee, to be chased away or to flee, because you know they're going to go to running. I done told y'all this in payment. I'll never forget it. Many, many years ago, I had a dream about the coming of the Lord. It ain't like nothing you'd ever think it was. All you seen were people running, screaming, and hollering, and dead bodies dropping everywhere. I ain't see no chariots or no spaceships or nothing like that. All I seen was people running everywhere in terror and dead bodies falling all around me. Nobody physically touching them, just bodies just dropping. Just dropping. Just dead bodies dropping. That man ain't got to put hands on nobody. We already talked about that anyway in Malachi 4 from the beginning, because we had to work our way up to coming back to dealing with this back end part. Look at verse 7. But the man that shall touch them must be fenced with iron and with a staff of spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire in the same place. Well, where is that place, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, that they will be burned? Now, that fenced is Malay, and of course, y'all know that is to be filled, to be accomplished, to confirm, or to complete. The man that touched them must be completed. Complete with iron, filled with iron. He got to be the one set to tighten these people up. But they shall utterly be burned with fire in the place, not the same place, in the place. Because that's what it say, ain't no same place. Now that's Shebeth, that seat or dwelling place, abode, a locality. What is the locality that they shall be burned in? What is that's not? I know that's easy. I know that's easy. Now I just know. What's the place they gonna be burned? Come on, man. Yes, sir. The valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of Hinnom. That is the place that they shall be burned. He will gather them all together to the place of Armageddon and burn them. And that ain't what you want. And he'll be able to do that because he rules in the fear of Elohim. And he's a just man who rules amongst men. Therefore, he has the ability to do that. Now, we sprung all this to talk about all that just because we were talking about don't take away from me your free spirit. We ain't even get back to all the verses that preceded that, just because we just wanted to focus on the free ruach and what that meant. Because I know if you look at that in English, you're just looking at, his spirit's free. He gives it to people freely, this, that, there, and the third. And that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the mind of a king. Now, there's many, many avenues just dealing with a king that can be driven just from that we have to stay on the beaten path in that regard to not even delve off into that. There's verses in Proverbs that we didn't already discuss that we could rehash, that just with the king dealing with judgment. But the main aspect, just like when I was talking to y'all about on Wednesday, that black culture is trash. It's pure and unadulterated trash because it's no culture at all. A culture has rules and a conduct and a way of living that can be passed down from generation to generation. We're not passing anything down but degeneracy. You have families that pass down single motherhood. That's a degenerate culture. See, the things that happen is we'll look at it and get offended versus just acknowledging that my parents gave me a degenerate culture. It doesn't matter if they knew what they were doing, if they didn't know what they were doing. That is irrelevant. You have to get out of your feelings and understand that a degenerate culture was passed down to me. Now, will I turn around and will I give a degenerate culture to my offspring? And see, I'm not even talking about in regards to no woman having that thought process. I'm talking about the man looking at my mother or my grandmother were not married and had kids. And now I may have turned around and had not been married and had kids. That is passing down a culture of degeneracy. This is what happens. Most people see that if somebody had a child young, their kids usually have children young, because you're going to pass down a culture of degeneracy. You see people who uncles and cousins and daddy sold dope, and now these young men do it. That is a culture of degeneracy. And then they begin to do what? Teach their nephews and cousins and sons the same things. A culture of degeneracy. There is no culture. We are a group of people who seek to emulate entertainers and athletes. That has to be the most embarrassing thing on the planet. That is completely embarrassing. Do you know what I'm saying? The men are an embarrassment. The women are an embarrassment. The sad part is our women don't feel like they are an embarrassment and that men should breed with them. And then the sad part is the men don't understand that they're an embarrassment and feel like the woman should submit and follow them. And we're a complete and utter embarrassment all the way around the board. No group of women walking this earth will walk into a restaurant and stand on furniture and clap their booty cheeks for all people to see and think that that's something to do and record it and egg each other on. No group of people will get on television with a multitude of weapons and talk about how they'll kill a nigga and rap about dead men of people who they're in opposition with. No other group of people do that. That is an embarrassment. That is an embarrassment. Is there an opposite of degeneracy? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see the opposite of a degenerate. Oh, hold on. I got degeneration. The opposite of a degeneration is improvement. The opposite of a degenerate is a pure person, moral. Certain synonyms for degenerate is over-refined and precious. An antonym for degenerate is undecadent. Another near antonym for degenerate is incorruptible, ethical, honest, principled, righteous, virtuous, moral, good. Also pure, uncorrupt, and uncorrupted. So most importantly, antonym for degenerate, it would be righteous. An antonym is the opposite. Well, synonym is the same if you don't know what an antonym is. So yeah, the opposite of being a degenerate is to be righteous, which is basically my point of us no longer giving down a degenerate culture, but to give down a righteous culture. The only righteous culture that we can give is the culture that comes from Elohim, like we talked about Wednesday. He's the one who led us in understanding and taught us wisdom and knowledge. No one else has done that. Because we have to be honest with ourselves. What are the top 3 things that we're doing in America that should be upheld and taken with us if we weren't dealing with the word of Elohim at all? What do we have that we can really, we really in an uproar because some women didn't want to participate in athletics because they say they were stressed and had a hard time dealing with the pressure. Nigga, what? This thing talking about my auntie died. So what? And I know that sounds harsh. So what your auntie died? No matter what, see, this is a difference of what a man has to understand. No matter what goes on around you as a man, you still must perform. It doesn't matter. See, that's the thing, and it's not to disrespect no woman. This is to understand that if you're going to enter in certain arenas, that just come with the play. Because guess what? We know what this book say. He say whether death, whether persecution, whether hunger, is that going to separate us from the love of Mashiach? So no matter what goes on around you, you still have to perform. See, sadness is not an excuse for not performing. Oh, it's getting too pressure. I can't deal with the pressure. You still got to perform. See, a woman has the right to bow out of that. A man don't have that ability. And I'm telling that for the men, not to even talk about the women. Don't sit around and try to do that as a man. And then you're going to be upset when nobody had no sympathy for you like they had for them. So don't nobody care about what you got going on. You still going to have to perform. And when I say don't nobody care, people care about what you got going on as an individual and as a person. But if there's things that you have to produce, you got to produce. Men always have to produce. A woman does not have to produce. You know what I'm saying? Like I just heard dude was talking about this on the jump, man, and it's real, right? Chicks be talking about, well, I'm getting money. I don't care about your money for one reason and one reason alone, because you ain't going to give me none. We done already had this conversation. Now, let me say that you ain't going to give me none. Put it to you this way. Niggas don't require a woman to break bread with them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't demanding that. You're not requiring that. You're not seeking after that. And that's important because if that woman got some money, she ain't gonna spend no money on you. She ain't gonna spend a dime on you. Because that's her money, but she gonna want you to spend your money on her. Because we done had the conversation. That woman would rather give you her vagina than give you her money. Do you know what I'm saying? She'll rather do that. She could have $1,000 in her pocket. Her vagina is worth more than the rack, and she'll rather give you that than to break bread with you. That ain't the woman you want. That ain't the woman you want. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the woman you want. She'll rather give you some vagina. I can't do nothing with no ejaculation. I can't do nothing with that. Because at the end of the day, that's not even you giving me anything because I'm giving you penis. So this is a fair exchange. We're both getting pleasure out of this. We're both getting something out of this. This is not you saying, I'm going to take this here and do this here. So that don't even mean nothing. I was telling my homeboy the other day, right? Nigga looking at, boy, Rihanna worth $1 billion and Rihanna going to be a hoe till the day she die. Because she done already been with niggas who got money. She been ran through and bust through. Nigga don't care nothing about you being worth $1 billion. You was a slut hoe. I don't care how much money she got. You a slut hoe. You been with a lot of dudes you ran through. You was a bust down. Nigga, I don't care because you famous. I don't care because you got no money. I don't hold no respect for you. You're a whore. Money ain't going to change the fact you're a whore. But guess what? It's a whole bunch of simps out here just because she Rihanna and she got some money. They don't care. That woman, I don't care nothing, but that woman will never respect any man. If she worth $1.7 billion, she got to be with a man who worth twice that. For that man to get any level of respect. Can't no man, because she's not going to do for a man what a man would do for a woman if he was worth $1.7 billion. That's what dudes don't understand. She's not going to elevate your life. She's going to look at you like you's a sucker, and she's going to have 2-3 other dudes who she going to be having sex with because she can't respect you. You're beneath her. And you can't get upset with her because that's how a woman operates. You just have to respect it and deal with it accordingly. It's not like any of us are going to run across a Rihanna or anything of that sort, but you can't be jaded by the fact or persuaded because this person got a lot of money because we think that, oh, she's doing it for the culture. For her entire career, she's been a whore and promoted whoredom. I don't respect that. That wholesale lingerie and makeup for women to gallivant around looking like clowns and whores. At the end of the day, that's what she promotes, whoredom. So I don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, you got some money, so what? You're a funky slut hoe. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want my daughter to grow up and be like you. At all. I don't care what you've done. I'm not any of that. You know what I'm saying? And you certainly, Yahuwah don't care. But I'm mentioning that because that's what our people set our culture on. We say do it for the culture. And every time we say do it for the culture, we talking about rappers and entertainers, athletes, because we have no culture. Black people don't have any respect for academics. You know what I'm saying? When I say academics, people of academia, you don't have any respect for that. You don't uphold that. You don't care about that. You don't care about men of righteous and moral conduct. You don't uphold wisdom and understanding. These are not things that you venerate. We don't venerate any of those things. And you can see that everywhere you go and everything that we promote. So our culture is trash because it's no culture at all. So that means we have to return back to the culture that was given to us from the beginning of time. And that's the culture that comes from heaven. That's the culture of Elohim. That's the ways, the laws, the statutes and commandments, and most importantly, the faith in Yahushua. That is the culture of this people that you want to live down to your offspring. That if you have the mind of the king, your son will too. And if your son got a mind of a king, then therefore he can lead about his wife, lead about his daughter in a just fashion. Therefore, you would know that you would be giving your daughter to a young man who has the mind of a king. That's something that your heart can rest easy. So we don't consider any of these things. We're giving our kids to degenerates. We send them out there to wade through a world of degenerates. It's men who profess that they in the word, and these niggas are degenerates. These are corrupt men. And we ain't got no problem with it. These are things to consider. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. Let me get y'all out of here, man. It's 11:40. I got a long ride. You know what I'm saying? But it's just something you could think about it, man. You could do what you want to with it. You know what I'm saying? You could be like, man, that nigga don't know what he talking about. That nigga need to be quiet. And you're entitled to that. You know what I'm saying? But we just had to, there's things that we had to think about. Because if his spirit is a spirit of nobility, then why are we shunning being people of nobility? If he said your nobles and governors are going to be of yourselves, then why are you shunning being a king, being a ruler, having the mind of a noble? Just because you're not in the position of a noble or a higher class in the society that you're in does not mean that you should not conduct yourself and think like one until you're placed in that position at the time appointed. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to be at the higher class in this place. Just get over that and deal with it. You weren't sent over here for that purpose. Deal with that. That is what it is. That's nothing you should aspire to. Why would you aspire to a high level of nobility and a land of degeneracy and wickedness and idolatry? See, it's different if Yahuwah set you in a position to be in that fashion in order to deliver his people, as he did during the time of Daniel, the time of Mordecai, the time of Joseph. But clearly we're not in that time because he has not done that. If that's something that he wanted done, he would have done it. All the niggas, you never know. Look here, man. Nigga, you ain't have to run for no office, nigga. Joseph ain't have to run for no office. Daniel ain't have to run for no office. Mordecai ain't have to do none of that. You ain't got to do none of that. Yahuwah put you where he needs you to be at, when he wants you to be there to perform what needs to be done. You ain't got to go out here on no campaign trail. Niggas is stupid, man. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really sit there and think about it, you really think if Yahuwah wanted you in government to make a change, bro, he'd have you spend your own money going around here asking for votes, bro. What type of Elohim you think you dealing with, man? You ain't got to do all of that. He'll put you where he wants you to be at. He'll get you there. Man, don't you know sometimes, man, there be people be in spots, man, somebody die and people get appointed to be in the office, man. Man, we don't even be reading the word, man. We be coming up with stuff and just be trying to say, oh, Yahuwah stamping that when really that's what you want to do. And that's fine. Just say that. You know what I'm saying? But the issue of the matter is, do not shun understanding that his ruach is a ruach of nobility. And if you're going to be of his house, you're a man of nobility. You're a man of a higher class. Why do you think John told you greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world? You think that's just some talk? That ain't just no talk, man. That ain't just no talk. Pay attention how the Lord walked, man. He walked like a king before he was a king. And that's what we've been looking at with David. And we got more to do in regards to that. Like how David walked, man. David was walking like a king before he was a king. How he stepped to Goliath like a king. How he was dealing with his brothers and Saul and all them people around him, he was dealing with him like a king. He had the mind of a king before he was even king. If you want to sit at this man's right hand You got to have the mind of a king before you even sit there. You can't go to sit there and then develop the mind of a king. It's too late, son. You got to have the mind of a king before you even ascend to the throne. Why y'all think we've been looking at all that? Why y'all really think we've been looking at the sufferings that Yahushua and David went through before they sat on the throne? That you could understand and see that they had a mind of a king before they even became one. If you want to be a king, you got to have the mind of a king before you sit on the throne. You have the opportunity to develop the mind of a king by receiving the Ruach HaKodesh before you even sit on the throne. You're not going to get an opportunity to get the mind of a king after you sit on the throne. You should have had it before you got there. And if you recall, we talked about this last year or whatever year, maybe 2 years ago, about not letting somebody take your crown when we were in the book of Daniel. And too many of us, you letting people take your crown because you're not keeping the mentality of being a king. You want to be a king, you got to be a king before it's your time to sit on the throne. But we got some more to deal with that, man. Blessings out to Hasa Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. I appreciate y'all time this evening, man. Yahuwah Baruch in the name of Yahushua, man. Keep your feet firm and shod on the rock, man. Keep your mind focused. You know what I'm saying? Let Yahuwah's mercies envelop you and guide you, and keep your mind steadfast on the salvation that is at hand. Yahuwah willing, till the next time.